Right. Hello, everyone. My name is, Elizabeth Luna, or Ellie for short, and welcome to Cole in the Community. I am one of the BCBAs in our spring location. I hope everyone is staying safe and warm. So today I will be discussing increasing the outcome, setting parent goals, and ABA. So to start off the webinar, first I will go over what is ABA. Next, I will discuss the features of good services that you should look for. And last, I will tie together on why parent training matters. So what is ABA? ABA stands for the Applied Behavior Analysis, which is defined as the use of learning principles to make meaningful change in behavior. In behavior analysis, we use science to make meaningful changes in our behavior. The goal is to improve an individual's quality of life, specifically by increasing communication, interactions, or other important skills, and decreasing challenging behaviors. ABA uses science to change behavior. Being scientific means that we should take an objective approach to modifying behavior. That is, we only use procedures that have been proven effective by years of research. We remain objective by collecting frequent data, graphing our data so that we can closely monitor changes in behavior and making decisions based on data. That is, we use the data to determine if our treatment programs are effective or if our modifications are needed. When looking at ABA services, you should be aware of who is a board certified behavior analyst or BCBA. This person has received proper training and passed an exam to qualify them for this title. They aren't usually the person who works directly with your child, but they should observe them frequently and be involved in your child's care. So we use ABA to modify behaviors by decreasing behavior that may hinder learning and daily living. Some examples are aggression, tantrums, or self-injury. However, we also work on increasing skills that are helpful for everyday life, such as teaching academic skills, how to communicate or improve the current level of communication, teaching social skills interactions, language, and teaching self-help skills. So as you research ABA therapies, you may notice that there are two broad categories of intervention: focused intervention and comprehensive intervention. So focused intervention refers to ABA therapy that is used to treat 1 to 2 functional goals for a child. The behavior analyst will collaborate with the caregivers to determine which key functional skills or problem behaviors would be the most relevant for the child and the family goals. Focused intervention typically entails less than 25 hours per week of service. Comprehension intervention, on the other hand, can address multiple functional goals. For the child, because the number of service hours are nearly doubled. Comprehensive intervention will focus on remediating the core symptoms of autism, which will span across a variety of different goals. Comprehension intervention typically entails 30 to 40 hours a week. Both services typically entail one-on-one and some group therapy. Both services also place emphasis on caregiver training in order to maximize the number of ABA hours the child receives. Both services could be provided in different settings, such as hospital-based clinic, university-based clinic, in-home services, in-clinic services, and school setting. So before we move on and talk about the importance of parent training, I do want to touch briefly on how to identify ABA programs that provide quality services, as this is essential for the development of your child. So let's get to it and talk about features of good services and how to spot quality ABA. There are many ABA therapy services in the state of Texas. Practicing behavior analysts must be certified through the Behavior Analyst Certification Board in order to become a behavior analyst. Individuals must obtain a graduate degree, obtain a defined amount of supervised practical experience, and pass an examination. Quality ABA services will have a board-certified behavior analyst on staff to supervise your child's therapy. If a BCBA isn't working directly with your child, the BCBA will supervise a BCABA or an RBT in working with your child. To find a behavior analyst, you may use the BACB website. You will want to know who's specifically working with your child. Typically, there will be an RBT, BCABA, or graduate student working to obtain experience hours. A BCABA or a master's degree student will typically have more training, but RBTs are also supervised and can be excellent therapists. And then ABA is not a specific strategy or program for individuals with autism. ABA therapy focuses on behaviors that are relevant to the child's family, to the child and family's current goals. The teaching or behavior reduction strategy will be individualized for each child, specifically in efforts to produce a meaningful change in behavior. Behavior analysts may make use of the ongoing assessment and data collection to indicate whether or not the selected approach actually changes behavior over time. If the behavior is not changing, the therapeutic approach will be adjusted on an individual level to better serve each child. The approach of an ABA therapist uses with your child should be based on current scientific evidence. You should be able to ask for research articles supporting the interventions they select for your child. Even if you can't understand the article, a quality ABA provider should be able to provide you with references behind what they are doing. There will be a difference in the therapist who states that they selected an intervention because it has been effective in the clinic before and who states that the research has proven this method works. The research that an ABA provider should use should be in a journal that is reviewed by well-known researchers, peer review before the article is published. Just because an intervention is recommended in a blog does not mean that the intervention will be effective. You should feel comfortable asking your ABA provider, can you show me the literature behind the recommendations? This will impress, not stress, a quality ABA provider. A quality ABA provider will be collecting data over your child's progress on each goal of therapy. If you're working on self-dressing, your therapist should have an idea of how well your child is performing before and during teaching. The quality therapist will use this data to make treatment adjustments as necessary. You want to find a behavior analyst that will ask for your input on your child's treatment throughout. They should ask for your input on your goals before they begin treatment with your child. They should be able to clearly explain everything to you. The therapist should be very happy to answer any questions that you may have. If the therapist is not willing to do so, this is a red flag. So, quality ABA will focus on teaching your child the skills needed to be independent. Can your child ask for his wants or needs? Can your child advocate for themselves when they don't want to complete a task? Can they perform self-help skills such as toileting, dressing, toothbrushing, and more? You'll want to know if the program plans for generalization for natural environments. Is your child only toilet trained in the clinic or with a specific therapist and will not use a bathroom in your house or when you're present? You want to find a program that plans for the generalization of skills to the natural environments. You should look for if they're teaching the skills in multiple locations and across people. You will also want to look for a program that incorporates students' interest and motivation. This means that the learner will love to learn. So some questions to ask. Are you a board certified behavior analyst? You have to make sure that the person in charge of the program has the training, skills, experience, and certifications to run a program. In addition, the person needs to have experience treating and creating programs for children like your child. 2, you can ask, what training have you received? There are many subspecialties within the field of ABA. Behavior professionals can specialize in anything from designing safety programs for the workplace to developing treatment programs for children with autism. So just like it can take a different mechanic to work on Chevy versus a Mercedes. Are you able to work with my child? You have the right to and should always ask the BCBA. A good BCBA has a resume prepared to give to potential clients who do ask. If they don't, they may be indicated that you may need to look elsewhere. The BCBA or whoever is working with your child should be collecting data every session throughout the entire session, and it should be graphed daily. These graphs should be readily available to you. You should be involved in training and possible in the data collection. So you should ask, how often do you collect data and graph? So in order to change the behavior of the child, you must first change the behavior of the parent. So now let's move on to parent training. So parenting a child with autism spectrum disorder has its challenges. For one thing, parenting a child with autism often comes with more expenses than raising a typically developing child. This may be due to many factors, but some of those relate to the various behavioral and physical health challenges that may arise for the child. Generally speaking, although parents certainly love their children deeply, any parent may experience exhaustion from time to time. Parenting a child with autism may increase feelings of exhaustion in parents, as caring for the child with ASD requires ample emotional, physical, and mental resources for the parent. So, parent involvement is key. ABA parent training is an important piece of any treatment plan when working with children and adolescents. As caregivers, parents are responsible for helping the child learn and develop by guiding them and teaching them skills and behaviors that will help them in everyday life. Parent involvement in the treatment process has been found to be a factor that increases the likelihood of positive outcomes for the child. Parent training helps generalize and maintain the skills learned in therapy. Research has found that ABA services for children with autism that include parent training result in greater outcomes for the child as compared to services without ABA training incorporated into the treatment. So let's look at a common scenario you may recognize. After a long day of work, you pick up your child and run to the grocery store. Your child asks for a candy bar, but you say no. It's almost dinner time, so your child begins crying and screaming, and other customers start staring at you. So you purchase a candy bar and give it to your child so they stop crying and screaming. This is a relatable situation most of us have been in. However, in this example, the child has learned that crying and screaming is most likely to get them a candy bar. So BCBAs and trained ABA therapists work to help parents recognize behavioral patterns that contribute to inappropriate behaviors and how to change environments to support appropriate behaviors. Now let's look at another example. So here, your child's engaging in a novel behavior. So you tell your child it's time to clean up his or her room. Your child hits you for the first time and knocks over furniture. As a parent, you put them in timeout. And so here, timeout has helped in the moment, but now every time you tell your child to clean their room, they begin to hit and knock over the furniture. So as a parent, what do? So the goal of parent training is to teach you how to respond to your child in the moment when novel behavior occurs. It's important to be able to analyze a novel situation and be able to come up with an appropriate response. So looking back at our previous example, if going through parent training and being given the tools and strategies needed, be able to kind of think and like, okay, I know what to do in the situation. This is new, but I am in control. Parent training gives you basic understanding of behavior principles in order to most effectively respond to your child when the BCBA or therapist is not present. It is not very effective if you have to stop and refer to a flowchart every time a questionable behavior occurs, whether it be positive or negative. So parent training doesn't have to be difficult or time consuming. Initially, parent training can start with sharing details of behavior goals. It can include videotaping sessions and evaluate them with the therapist or BCBA. It could be as simple as the BCBA and therapist providing recommendations to you about behavioral supports at the home, such as posting a visual schedule. So go in and observe a session, and then at the end of each session, you can review data and behavior concerns with the BCBA therapist. You could also schedule weekly meetings or Zoom meetings with the families to discuss your child's programs. So, when it comes to ABA, parent involvement is key. So, as parents or primary givers, it's important to know and understand the ABA therapy goals, behavior plans, and strategies so well that in the in the absence of the ABA therapist, you could independently run a therapy session. So that is a degree of involvement that you are looking for. However, you can also go in and get more in-depth training, and so to learn about the basic understanding of the behavior principles. So some examples of ABA training topics include addressing the topic of ABCs, antecedent behavior consequences. So understanding the specific antecedent behavior and consequences for a particular child's behavior can help you learn why your child isn't doing something, which can then help you figure out what to do proactively to address and reactively respond to your child's behavior in order to help your child grow and develop in a more productive and appropriate ways. So another topic could be addressing function-based intervention. Function-based intervention helps you as a parent to implement strategies that truly make a difference in helping your child improve skills and behaviors. It can be helpful to teach you how to analyze the ABC data that you have collected on your child's behavior and how to really observe your child's behavior in order to identify the function of the identified behavior. So here you can learn about the 4 functions of behavior that include escape, attention, access to items or tangibles, automatic. And after teaching you about the functions of behavior, we can help you learn how to identify function-based strategies that can be used to help your child reduce maladaptive behaviors and increase adaptive behaviors. Just a big disclaimer, if your child engages in severe behavior or SIB, it's best to seek help from a BCBA. But going back to my previous example, if your child does tend to engage in novel behavior that you've never seen before, you're given the tools and strategies to be able to reduce those maladaptive behaviors. Another topic includes positive reinforcement. So positive reinforcement is one of the most effective and most highly recommended strategies for changing behavior and improving skills. This is why it should be emphasized in the parent training services. As a parent, you can help your child grow, learn, and succeed through the use of positive reinforcement in their daily lives. Plus, by using positive reinforcement, parents can experience greater personal well-being as well as improve the quality of life and well-being of the family overall. By focusing on what is going on right, what your child is doing well on a regular basis, parenting and life in general can be more enjoyable as compared to focusing on the bad stuff, what your child is doing wrong or what is not going so well. Positive reinforcement can be used to teach countless of behaviors and skills and can be used practically in any setting. From teaching a child to tie his shoes to teaching a child to learn to speak in vocal words, sign language, or picture exchange communication, to teaching a child to display appropriate mealtime behaviors or any skills you can think of. So as a parent, you can use positive reinforcement in your everyday routines to help your child. And life skills is a name for a broad category of behaviors or abilities that everyone needs and uses to some degree on a daily basis. By learning more about effectively helping your child develop a variety of life skills, you as a parent can have such a great impact on positively influencing your child's current and future life. Parents who focus on supporting their child's life skill development in a deliberate, committed, and strategic manner can have a great influence on helping their child live life on a journey toward their greater potential. By supporting a child's life skills or daily living skills, the child can live life with more independence and strength, no matter the developmental level of a child compared to their biological age. Life skills are important. In addition to teaching parents about basic ABA concepts, including those listed and how to individualize it all to their child, It is also essential to teach parents about generalization and maintenance of behavior and skill development. Parents have the ability to help ensure that the progress their child makes in therapy, at school, or even at home with the parents is maintained over time and generalized to new settings, to new situations, and with new stimuli. No one else has as much power as a parent does to help a child maintain progress and expand what the child has learned. So, what is generalization? Generalization is that a behavior has generalized if it has appeared in a wide variety of environments. It has spread to other relatable behaviors, or if it lasts over time. Lastly, rapport building. Although the topic of report building or pairing between parent and child seems to be less often emphasized within the field of ABA or applied behavior analysis, the topic does seem extremely relevant and is often recommended in parent training interventions, such as the treatment of child with disruptive behaviors, or is the evidence based intervention known as parent child interaction therapy. So, when parents are taught to learn to implement any strategy with the intent to change their child's behavior in some way, it's very important for them to also focus on developing a healthy relationship with your child. So, to develop rapport and engage in pairing activities, as a parent, you should spend time with the child and run in around the child, following their lead, showing interest, and making no demands, only speaking with declarative language, which serves to share information about your positive observations, feelings such as, this is fun, or we're playing with blocks. Although parents can spend set time each day with their child engaging in pairing activities such as by spending 15 minutes of quality time together, pairing should be regularly intertwined with learning opportunities so that the child can easily go back and forth from experiencing the parent in a pairing activity and then with a learning opportunity. It shouldn't typically be clear to your child that there's a difference between playing and working. For instance, while playing at the park in a fun way consistent with pairing, you as a parent can insert a learning opportunity by saying, what is this called when going down the slide, for a child learning to label items in the natural environment. So, in sum, parent training has a lot of benefits. It can improve your child's communication. So, children with autism can sometimes have difficulty expressing themselves and may often engage in problematic behaviors to get their wants and needs met. Through parent training, you can learn how to effectively teach your child to communicate without engaging in problems behaviors, and will likely see a decrease in problem behavior at home and in the community. Being involved in teaching communication skills will also help your child to acquire those skills at faster rates, as they will get a lot of practice with the skills at home with you, as well as in their therapy sessions. It can decrease problem behavior. Through parent training, you can also learn how to carry out the evidence-based problem behavior reduction interventions that are incorporated in your child's therapy program. You can receive support on how to handle your child's problem behaviors and ways that you can prevent problem behaviors from occurring. By participating in parent training and carrying out the behavior reduction interventions, treatment for problem behaviors will be more consistent, and therefore you will see a greater reduction in at home. Parent training provides consistency. As a parent, we all know and have learned firsthand the value of consistency. If you have a child with autism or other special needs, you know that consistency is even more important, so that it should come at no surprise that the consistency is key to achieving success with ABA therapy. So, through parent training in collaboration with your child's therapy team, you can develop methods to change your child's behavior that you can implement at home, outside of therapy. Parent training allows you to work together. Your child spends only a small amount of time in therapy, and consistently applying the same methods at home, at school, and the community allows your child to develop skills and behaviors they can use beyond our limited time together. It also promotes independence for children and adults with special needs. Children with autism often develop a stronger dependence on their parent, and ABA therapy combined with parent training is a great way to help kids reach their highest potential. In therapy, we teach daily living skills, and through parent training, those same skills can be reinforced at home. So, increased independence at home and in the community can lead to big improvements in the quality of life for both you and your child. Lastly, parent training empowers you as a parent to feel like you know what to do in various situations with your child. Kids don't come with an instruction manual, and navigating challenging behavior is hard. So, parent training can help you come up with learning opportunities throughout the day to help your child generalize and master skills quickly. And then for resources, feel free to reach out to colehealth.com, feethouston.org. And then we're also social. So you can find us at Facebook through at Cole Health, through Instagram. We are Cole Health, through our blog, colehealth.com/blog. And if you scan the QR code, you can get access to our latest Cole in the Community YouTube comment. Thank you and have a great day.